Good morning, LinkedIn family. It's time for another Coffee with Bob, and today I'm very pleased to introduce you all to a new connection that I have. Lynne Curry is from the Great White North of all places. As you can see in her background back there, there's snow already, and it's not as sunny as it is here in the States. But live from Alaska, we've got Lynne. Lynne, how are you doing today?
Live from Alaska, warm inside the house. My collie is keeping my toes warm as we speak.
Yeah, I would imagine you need to have something like that. How did you end up in Alaska?
I lived in Korea for a year, and on my way back from Korea, we flew over Fairbanks, and I looked down and I saw these mountains and trees, and I thought, I want to live there. So at 17, when I got married, and my ex-husband said, let's go to South Dakota, I said, that would be a beautiful state, but if we're going to go that far, let's go all the way to Alaska. And we wound up in Nome, Alaska, which is Alaska's northwest.
Wow, amazing. I mean, that's just so cool. Alaska's always been one of the places that I want to visit.
It's incredibly, incredibly beautiful in the summer, spring, and fall.
No, it's definitely on our bucket list. Now, Lynne's a published author too, as well. You've got an amazing blog, and you've got 2 nonfiction works out right now, and working on a fiction.
Called Beating the Workplace Bully, and I have this book called Solutions, which is sort of a reader's 911 to workplace challenges. They're both on Amazon, and I am lucky to be 4.8 stars out of 5. So I'm very excited. I've been writing Dear Abby of the Workplace column since 1981. And
where do we find that?
It's in the Anchorage Daily News, and it's also on my blog. I'm so excited. The blog has now subscribers, more than 2,000 of them in 70 countries, and it's www.workplacecoachblog.com.
Awesome.
It started in the newspapers and moved into WordPress, and I'm still doing the newspapers. Every week doing a column.
Wow, amazing. And it's such an important topic, especially in these politically charged times, right? The workplace can become pretty tense, right?
My last 2 posts, or 2 of my last 2 posts, were on election issues.
Really?
Came out in the workplace between Biden people and Trump people, and also my own belief that although I used to counsel people not to talk politics at work, in this upcoming election, it's and with COVID and climate change and all the rest of whatever's happening, we really need honest information and respectful dialogue. So I took a risk yesterday with an opinion piece about that. The other blogs this week were about ethics and this remote lodge in Alaska where there was a domestic violence issue.
Oh, wow.
I blog a lot about career, about personal development, professional development, bullying, HR, leadership. Actually, I have this Ask a Coach feature, and people write in questions and I answer them. And that's what happened 39 years ago in the Anchorage Daily News. I was writing a standard workplace column, and the newspaper called me up and said, you have fan mail. And I came over, and there were 30 letters saying, what do I do about this idiot boss? My coworker is driving me nuts because he hums. This guy tried to kiss me at work, and I was trying to be professional, and I kickboxed him. So now what do I do?
Wow, runs the gambit, doesn't it?
It does run the gamut. It is real life drama, and that's what I write about actually 5 days a week now.
Wow. So let's go back a little bit to the political stuff where you're encouraging people to have those political discussions at work. How do you do that without it devolving into something that becomes, confrontational?
I think that we need to go back to where we were about 10, 15 years ago when someone would say, here's who I'm supporting. And someone else would say, well, how come? And actually listen with the intent to hear.
Mm-hmm.
many, many years ago, there were a number of statesmen who were able to talk so that others could listen. And I think we need to get past this idea that we're polarized and we have to have a duel,
Right.
and into how do we listen and how do we not make each other wrong for feeling something different than we
Right.
believe.
Yeah, yeah, it's not wrong to have a political belief, no matter which side you're on. I mean, I think personally, and I don't bring up politics at work. I don't, even though I know a large portion of our employees probably feel the same way that I do based on where we live geographically. I still don't bring it up, only because I'm always worried about offending someone else, and my values tell me. I'm involved in the Random Act Kindness Initiative, right? I'm a believer in one connection can change a life, and I want to be that connection for somebody. So I'd rather not bring up anything that may potentially make someone else uncomfortable or feel confrontational. So it's a fine line. I don't know how you do it.
I think that's a really wonderful ethic. And most of my friends feel differently than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we learn a lot more by listening to people who hold a different opinion. Even yesterday, a man came over to put up Christmas lights on my house. He told me something about one of the politicians I didn't know about. And it was very interesting. We used to be able to get a lot of information from the media, but the media is so polarized that it's really hard to get information. As a journalist, I fact check everything before I put it in my blog.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I try to be you mentioned active listening before. I really try to be an active listener. But what I don't do is I don't offer opinions unless they're an opinion that I feel like it's going to help that particular person, right? And depending what we're talking about. But I've just found through experiencing offer political opinions these days are kind of like banging your head against a wall in some cases.
I completely understand. What has happened to me in my writing is at first I was so neutral. And now I'm still neutral, but I also say, here's what I think you need to do. For example, in today's blog article, there's a woman whose employer asked her to compromise her ethics. And I said, well, basically listen to your sense of integrity. That's more important than this particular employer. But if you want to keep your job and still keep your ethics, here's how you can handle it. And that gave her back the choice to be able to keep her job and still do the ethical right thing.
That's amazing. That's great stuff. If you're not following Lynne, if you're not connected with Lynne, I highly recommend it, and definitely engage with her. I'll put your blog URL in the comments. That way LinkedIn will be nice to us when we post this, and you'll be tagged in there. And again, I really do believe one connection can change a life. I think Lynne can be that connection for any number of you out there. So please make sure you connect with her, you follow her, and you definitely engage with her. Lynne, thank you so much. I loved this. You're an amazing woman, and I'm looking forward to your new novel when it comes out.
Well, I'm hoping people go to that Ask a Coach feature on www.workplacecoach.blog. Workplace Coach.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll put it in the links in the comment below.
And I'm hoping they link to me on Twitter, because they'll see 5 posts a week on Twitter as well. It's at Lynne Curry 10.
Perfect. And we'll put that there as well. So everybody follow her. Thank you so much, and stay warm in Alaska. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oop, oop.